for that.
All right, listen up. Verizon wants to invade your privacy in your own home, all in the name of advertisements. The company filing for a patent that would target ads based on information that it collects from cameras and microphones in your living room. We're assuming on a set-top box.
Imagine what goes on in the living room. For example, if an argument were to be heard in the living room, it would prompt ads then for marriage counseling out of this thing. And in contrast, sounds of romance that Dagan may have been referring to before the break.
You know, groaning. Then heavy breathing.
Apparently you get ads for contraceptives if that's going on. So the judge is here on that note, Napolitano.
I did not write the intro.
Dagan did.
No one did. I moaning and groaning. I just threw in there for color.
This is crazy.
Well, it is crazy for a couple of reasons. Now, if Verizon's going to do this, if Verizon, which I think supplies your home,
yeah, it does.
With cable television, other digital products are going to do it, they have to tell you about it, and they have to get your consent. Otherwise, they would violate state and federal privacy laws. That's problem number one, because some people will say, no, forget about it. Problem number two is, if Verizon is in your living room, the government is in your living room, because the government has a habit of persuading the telecoms, not using the force of law, not using a subpoena, not using a search warrant, but persuading telecoms to give them access to their information about us. It's interesting. About 6 months before he resigned, General Petraeus gave a private speech, and the transcript was leaked, so we all saw the transcript, those of us who watch these things, to a group of telecom executives saying, we will soon know what everyone is doing in their house when we want to know. He apparently knew more about it than we thought he knew, because he was talking to the people who would be providing him with the technology to find this out. Verizon will claim, you're going to like this, because we're going to know what you need, and we're going to tailor advertisements to you. But who wants Big Brother, whether a benign Big Brother or a hateful Big Brother, in the living room?
So what
That's what's coming.
Ultimately, down the road, what is your option? Not to have
well, you have a couple options. One, you could tell the Orwellians at Verizon to go take a hike.
Right, you could still have cable. You could just say you don't want
and you could do that by saying, no, I'm not. I don't want your equipment in my house.
If you're a suspicious person, I mean, do you trust the box in your house? So to speak?
But they're doing it anyway, right?
You could say to Verizon, I want your product, but I don't want this device in my home. Or you could say to Verizon, I don't want your product. I'll go to another provider if you live in an area where you have a choice. I live in New York City, and there are many choices.
Well, who's to say they all won't do it? I mean, Comcast had, I don't think it's exactly similar, but had something like this. I think Google was working on some sort of technology.
That was like 4 years ago.
Right. Well, remember, when a private entity does it, we don't have to purchase their product. But when we do accept the product, assume that the government will tap in. And when a private entity does it, we can tailor what we want. We can say, I only want this, I only want this, I don't want that. And then if they violate that, you have a cause of action against them for a violation of your privacy. That's not what they fear. They fear a class action against them for a violation of your privacy. That's a team of lawyers representing millions of people whose privacy has been violated. That would be a very expensive lawsuit for them to defend against.
Sounds like a big can of... I mean,
and if the Justice Department were doing its job, they fear an indictment for invading privacy.
I'm picturing a Homeland episode, which I'm also obsessed with.
Oh, my God.
Are you?
So obsessed with Homeland.
Sergeant Brody sitting there in the house, and they're watching him on his...
You know what? If you don't talk to Verizon, they're going to be sending you Homeland episodes before you ask for them. Because they'll know how badly you want to see them.
You know what? That, I think people would maybe agree to. But if there's enough outrage even before this product's introduced, do you think Verizon backs off? Because people
I don't know Verizon well enough, but let me say this. Just the fact that they applied for a patent doesn't mean they're going to get the patent or doesn't mean they're going to use the product. We are a couple of steps and probably a few years ahead of this game, unless they are farther along on this than they've led us to believe.
Thank you, Judge.
Pleasure, guys.
You know, for a sliver of a second, I actually liked Connell because we're both obsessed with Homeland. I'm glad I just found that out.
Unfortunately, the show comes to an end.
I know the finale is this Sunday, correct?
I think there's 2 left for the season. There's 2 more.
2 left, excuse me.
2 more. All right.